Good morning, my friends, and welcome to Discovery Thursday. So, because of great demand and a possible rainy Friday, we are going to do a Discovery Thursday this week, which is okay. We're just going to shift a few things around, but this ought to be fun. So today we are going to do shadow play. And so we are actually going to go outside, and you are going to get an opportunity to measure your shadow. Now, there's a very specific way I want you to do this, and you can measure with just about anything. You can measure with a piece of string, you can measure with a yardstick, you can measure with a tape measure. There's lots of different ways to measure this. I would like you to get a pretty accurate measurement if you can, and I would like you to know how tall you are. So find some creative ways to do that. If you can't, talk to me and I'm sure we can work something out. But at the very least, I would hope you would take a piece of string, or a piece of yarn, or a piece of thread, a piece of rope, and measure how tall you are, and then another piece to measure how tall your shadow is from the back of your heel. So I'm going to take you outside right now, and I'm going to show you how I would like you to measure your shadow, okay? And then we'll come right back in, and we'll get back to work. All right, my friends, so it was very windy outside, which I knew it would be, so I'm going to talk about this, what I need to do when you're doing that. I have a yardstick, I have some string, I have a pencil, and I have a pair of scissors. Now, what I want to do is see this mark on the ground right there? I'm going to put the very tip top of my head there, and I'm going to make sure it lines up. Now, the sun needs to be right behind me, so that it casts as straight a shadow as possible. Now you see I'm trying to line my head up on that line. I need to put my feet together to make sure that I get the correct height. Now once I do that, and I get that right on the line, I'm going to put a mark right at the back of my heel with the pencil on the ground. Now that pencil mark I'm going to use to measure from that spot at the end. Now you want to make sure you know the time that this is taking place, because you're going to mark that down on your data sheet. Now the wind is really bad. It would actually help if you had someone, but I'm going to take the string, I'm going to put it down there, and then I'm going to use my tape, I'm going to use my yardstick to just measure that out. I'm going to hold it down so it's right on that point. It really was windy out there, and it was kind of hard to keep that, but the string, I'm just going to lay it there, and then I'm going to walk back. Now, if you have a tape measure, this becomes significantly easier. Just use the tape measure and measure yourself. But I'm going to take the string, and I'm just going to make sure it's laying straight, and then I'll just grab my scissors, and I'll just cut it right off at that point. Now, that's my shadow length, and I want to keep that separate. So I'm going to take that piece of string and my stuff, and I'll use that piece of string, and then I can just lay it along the tape measure and measure that all the way out. The next thing I'm going to need to do is measure my height. And so I'm going to use another piece of string to measure my height. Now I want to make sure that when I measure my height, I'm going from the very top of my head, and I want to make sure that my feet are together when I measure that distance. Okay, so we've returned back in from going outside, and the next step is we want to make sure and record that data on the sheet that I'm providing here. So right here we have our sheet. These are the very specific instructions that I gave you on here. Please record the date today, the time, your height, and your shadow's length from the back of your heel to the tip top of its head. And then you're going to answer these questions. Will your shadow be longer in the summer or the winter? If you measure your shadow tomorrow at the same time, will it be shorter or longer? That's another question. And why? Why is it either going to be shorter or longer tomorrow? You're also going to insert the picture you took of your shadow. So make sure and do all of that and enjoy the rest of your Thursday. The quiz is open from yesterday. If you didn't take it yesterday, you can take it today. And I'll open for a second attempt tomorrow. Okay, my friends. That's it for today. I hope you enjoy this. Get out there and do some shadow play.